Okay. So yesterday we were talking about the SDLC methodology, right? Software development lifecycle and SDLC, and we had so many, various flavors in SDLC like waterfall methodology, helical, spiral, okay, and we have four quadrants and all those things, right? So here, this agile is completely different from SDLC. So we'll just see here. Okay. So any questions from yesterday? Any questions in methodology so far? So it's a framework. Okay, methodology is a framework. It's like these are decided. This methodologies is decided by the management perspective. But since you are in the system, right? Since you are working in a, so you have to know the process. Okay, so that's the process. Okay, it's not a software or something. Just it's not a tool like, okay, can you give me access? No, it's a framework. Okay, you're working in some development or testing for your testing, but um, the framework when you have to work in one after the other particular process, is called methodology. Okay, so here in agile, so here we'll be working more on the scrum. Okay, what's an agile? Agile is an iterative and incremental process. Okay, agile is iterative and incremental process. It's also a methodology. Okay, but agile is pretty much high level down. Okay, why? Because it has sub levels. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's show here. So if you see here, there are many other frameworks too within Agile. Okay, within Agile. So these are all included in Agile. Okay, so if somebody asks you like, okay, what methodology you are using, so you'll say Agile, right? It's okay. Yeah, we are working in Agile. Now they exactly don't know what exact methodology working on, what exact framework. So if you see here, so there are so many, right? There's so many other. So Kanban. Okay, this is one more framework. RAD, that is rapid application development. Okay, then you have Scrum. So this is what we'll be discussing today, right? We will be talking about Scrum, and then you have okay, there's, so many else here, so many things. Okay, here, then you have this XP, that is extreme programming. Okay, so etc. So these are all methodologies. I'm sorry, these are all framework and agiles. These are part of that. Okay, and okay. So give me a second. Okay, so is it clear now? Is it good now? Okay, is it audible now? Can you hear it now? Okay, so okay, so these are various framework in particular agile. So here, what you have is like Scrum. Scrum is more, it's like a ceremonial kind of thing. A lot of people, gather. Uh, Okay, yeah, there's some some people can hear, some people don't. So please check with your respective HR manager because some people can hear, okay? Some people can hear properly, and some some cannot. Okay, so yeah, so that's the reason check with your respective HR manager. Okay, so or maybe yeah, sometimes I get mute, sometimes your audio gets mute, something like that. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so here in the Scrum, right? It's a when it's a iterative and incremental process. Okay, iterative and incremental process. So here you see there's a lot of framework here. So here in this, we'll be discussing about Scrum. If you know Scrum, okay, if you know Scrum, so most of them, okay, don't say that all of them, most of them, like
अरे શું કે છે પછી બોલીએ તો ભાઈ આપણે એડવાઇસ
ઇંગ્લિશમાં બોલો ખબર ના પડી
ભલે એમ કીધું કે ગાય
Okay, that's good. So I'm muting everyone. If anyone has questions, they can unmute and they can go ahead. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I mean, as I said, right? Some people are really, just check with their respective HR manager so that see if there is any issues with any other thing. Okay. Okay. So here, if you know Scrum, okay, let's say if you know Scrum. Most of them will be similar. Okay, I don't say same. All of them is not same. It will be similar because Scrum is kind of a lot of ceremonial kind of thing. A lot of meetings goes on. A lot of things happen. Okay, so if you know Scrum, Kanban is pretty similar. It's a simpler version of Scrum. Okay, simpler version. Okay, so yeah.
No, I have a question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
What is the difference between agile and the waterfall method?
What's the difference between agile and waterfall methodology?
Yes, please.
Waterfall is, there's two are methodologies, okay? There's two are methodologies. Agile is more for, you use, if you are using agile, if you are looking, cost is more important than quality, okay? That's what when you use agile, okay? But both are methodologies. So different methodologies. Okay, waterfall is one guy he invented waterfall. It's kind of one-way process. The reason why waterfall, right? One-way process. So you start with requirements, and slow down by maintenance. But in agile, there are various other both are framework. Okay, both are framework to do a work. Does it make sense? So you use agile. The reason you use agile because let's say there's a 6 months project. Okay, you're doing in waterfall methodology. It takes 6 months. Okay.
Manu. No.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason you use agile because you want to make it quick, right? 6 months project, you want 3 months, 3 months it's done. So that's the reason you use agile. Okay. Both are methodologies. Does it make sense? When you use waterfall, if you think like quality is more important than cost, then you use waterfall. And you want to use agile if cost is more important than quality. Okay, it's management decides that. Okay, so let's go here. So okay.
I know. I say
So yeah, I'm muting. Again. because other people will be having disturbance, right? So if you have any questions, unmute and you can go ahead. So, okay, so let's start with roles and responsibilities. Okay, we are actually talking about Scrum. What is Scrum? It's an iterative and incremental process. Okay, and if you know Scrum, the rest of this process remains similar. Okay, just like Kanban, it's a simpler version of Scrum. You remove all these meetings, so it becomes a Kanban. Okay, so we'll also check. So for this Kanban too, how this Kanban process works. But here we'll just talk about this Scrum. Okay, so let's talk about the roles and responsibilities. Okay, who is what, and you know. So the difference, right? I told you the difference. The difference is you want to use Agile because cost is more important than quality. Okay, or you can use anything. You can use waterfall, or you can use Agile. Both are same. Both are methodologies. Okay, both are methodologies you'll be using in your but it's not decided by you. You're a tester, you're a developer. You're not decide that. The person who is the management perspective, they will decide which is good for the team. Okay, they will be deciding because it comes from the management perspective, right? So that's the difference. Okay, if you are looking, if you're saying that cost, no, we want like 6 months project, we want this in 1 month, and they crunch all this and put it in 1 month. So you want to go to Agile, and now we want to look into the quality. Quality is more important. Then you go to the waterfall. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, does it make sense? Yeah, there's a scenario, right? See, this is a framework, so that's what I'm saying. This is a framework. This is not a software. This is decided by management perspective. Okay, so that's a scenario. So what's the scenario? 6 months project. You want to do it quick, 1 month. Okay, that's a scenario. And how to do it? Use Agile. 1 month, it's done. Okay. We want quality, and it's okay. We can take more time. We can, pay, because the reason you want is Agile, because 6 months, right? Instead of hiring 6 months, you want to pay the employees, right? You want to pay the employees, a lot of cost, right? You have to pay the, employees. You have to pay your bills, this office bills and all those things. So, management doesn't want that, right? Say no, we don't have that much money, so we'll move to Agile. Okay, and so they move to the Agile, and six months, they crunch it in 1 month, and it's done. Okay, so now management is saving a lot of money, right? This 6 months project, they just completed in 1 month. Okay, so that's the scenario. So they want to, save money because you don't want a lot of time. You don't want to spend 6 months, okay, and want to complete in 1 month. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so let's go to here. Let's talk about these roles and responsibilities. So here, the guy, product owner. Who is a product owner? So business analyst in waterfall methodology, is called product owner in Agile. Okay. So I already told, right? Scrum. What is a Scrum? Scrum is iterative and incremental process. Okay. So that's a Scrum, and it's a framework. Okay. It's not a software. It's not a tool. Okay. Give me access. Okay. No, it doesn't work that way. It's decided by this is decided by the CFO or the CIO who is working, and they have to decide is this should be going to Scrum, is that has to go to Kanban, should be in extreme programming, all those things. Okay, they decided. Okay, but here we are just looking into the Scrum to see, okay, what the Scrum has. Okay, so let's talk about this product owner. Who is the product owner? Business analyst in waterfall. Who is the product owner in agile? It's the same guy, but the responsibilities are different. Okay, so let's see here. So these are these responsibilities of product owner. Okay, who is the product owner? Business analyst in waterfall methodology is called product owner in agile. Okay, and responsibilities little bit changes. They have little different responsibilities, and they will be working again. They will be working on a lot of documents. Okay, all this prepared. Most of the time in this agile, they're trying to eliminate this BRD. All those things. They try to minimize it. They just want one document that is user story. Okay, that's the thing. But in agile, normally you may not have access, or you may not be having those BRD, FRD, and all those things. Just one document that is user story. Okay, so that's what we were working on. Okay, so this is the product owner, and this guy is responsible for creating the user stories. Okay, so all those things is the product owner does that. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Development team. Okay, so now in Scrum, there's actually small teams. Okay, there will be small teams. Scrum 1, Scrum 2, Scrum 3. Okay, small teams. And normally these teams, it's less than 10 people. They have to be less than 10 people. Okay, otherwise the efficiency decreases. Okay, so what you have is let's say 5 people, is 3 developers, 1 tester, and 1 scrum master. Okay, so 5 people. Normally you have this 5 people in a team. Okay, so but it can go to 10 people, and if it's going more than 10 people, then it's not efficient. Okay, because lot of people know there's lot of things to be worked, so you want to divide it into different teams. Okay, team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4, so on. Okay, now this development team, now each team has its own developer. Okay, there is it can be anyone, Java developer, or ETL developer, okay, or web developer. It can be anyone. Okay, if it's flexible, if you are working in flexible environment, so if you are working on some defect which the guy is not available in your team, let's say that is an ETL issue, but you don't have ETL developer, then you can coordinate with the other team and see if that guy who's responsible for that can fix that issue. So if it's a flexible, agile environment, then you can also work with them. Okay, sometimes happens. Okay, when you're trying to coordinate, you have to coordinate with the other team people so that you are, defects get fixed. Okay, so that's the development team, and then we have a Scrum Master. Okay, now who is the Scrum Master? Project manager in waterfall methodology is called here as Scrum Master in Agile. Okay. Yeah, we'll go to that. Okay. So we'll go to Scrum and the Sprint. Okay. Scrum is iterative and incremental process, right? So we'll talk about the Sprint too. We'll be moving forward with that. Okay. Okay. So Scrum Master. Now he's the guy responsible for removing all the impediments. Impediments means issues. Any issues can be it can be defect. It can be coordination issue. It can be something is missing in the team. Something should be added, and all these are called impediments. Okay, impediments is something which is stopping you to do your work. Okay, you cannot move forward because there is some issue. That's called impediment. Okay, now you want to go through this. Scrum Master responsibilities, not the Scrum Master, even product owner too, and see, try to understand that. The reason because Agile is new and not many people know it. Okay, so what happened, right? So this is what happens. So what happened is I open a defect. Okay, I just open a defect, and the developer said now. So now we are busy. We have this working with the production issues from, we don't have time to fix your issues. So, okay, why don't you stop by later? And it's been 2 3 days, same response, and I have to fix this, right? It should be fixed soon, and we have to move, right? Because 2 weeks, it should be going to production, so we don't have much time. So what happens is, okay, developer is busy, can't bother him. So what I did was I gave to Scrum Master to, can you follow up with the developer? Okay, this is the defect. And what happened is, my boss said, well, why did you give to the Scrum Master? What defect has to do with the Scrum Master? Okay, so then I explained that, based on my experience, Scrum Master is the bridge between the developer and tester. Okay, developer doesn't have time, that's fine. Scrum Master might be locate another resource, they might assign another resource. Okay, so that's the thing. Scrum Master is bridge between developer and tester. Okay, so here's the thing. So that's actually the responsibility of a Scrum Master actually to fix the impediments. Let's see here. You see here, helping the Scrum team to avoid and remove impediments to its progress, whether internal or external to the team. Okay, that's the job of a Scrum Master. Okay, so this might happen, to you too. So what you want to do is you want to follow up with the Scrum Master and make sure your defect gets fixed. Okay, so somebody asked, is Scrum Master not a developer? Oh, Scrum Master is supposed to be a developer, right? So, but he doesn't take in development process. Okay, he or she doesn't involve in development. He is more into organizing that work. Okay. Again, Scrum Master. Who is Scrum Master? Project manager in waterfall methodology is called Scrum Master in Agile. Does it make sense? The project manager. You call project manager, right? In waterfall. Here you call Scrum Master. Same guy.
Okay, Manu, you said Scrum Master, it should be developer. But if it is not developer, you said when we have a problem and the developer is very busy, when we can go and report our Scrum meeting and all this stuff.
So so we'll go through that. Actually, you have the various meetings, Scrum meeting. So that is a daily meeting. So you have to report in that. So every day there is a meeting. Okay, so we'll go through that, Manoj.
But if the developer is not a Scrum Master, then who is a Scrum Master?
If developer is not a Scrum Master.
So you said you should be a developer,
Scrum Master can be a developer, but developer is not a Scrum Master. You understand the other way? It's two different things. Scrum Master can be a developer, but developer is not a Scrum Master. Okay? So the reason, right, a Scrum Master is supposed to be a developer because, they have good knowledge on how the code works, right? How the code thing and all those things. So normally, so Scrum Master is not a junior guy. Okay? It's not some random, no experience guy who came up with Scrum Master. It doesn't happen. These guys would be an experienced people. Right? Let's say 5 years development. They did like 5 to 6 years development, and now they move to Scrum Master because they know a lot of coding work. So that's how it works. Okay. Now, the reason Scrum Master most of the time is developer because they will be having knowledge on the code and they know what the fixing, how should be fixed, what the coordination, whom to coordinate, what are the issues. So all these things they will have some significant knowledge on that. So that's the reason most of the time Scrum Master will be a developer. Not always a tester. A tester, in some cases, there are also Scrum Master can be a tester, but have to be a little significant knowledge on how these things works. Then it can also be it. So that's how it is. Does it make sense? Okay. So yeah, I'm also responsible for coaching the development team, for how to organize and all those things. Okay, so that's promotion. And so if you see here, there's no tester, right? You see, there's only you have only three: product owner, development team, scrum master. So testers, they want to eliminate testers in agile. Okay, in agile, they want to remove these testers. Now, why this boss will say we don't need any testers? So that can be an interview point of view, interview question for you. So you gave all the questions and everything was good. Your boss suddenly says, no, we don't need testers. Why do we need testers? Development will test it and that's good and we are done. We don't need any testers. Okay? So you want to explain to your boss saying that, we cannot use developer as testers. If you are using developers as testers, they are testing as a business perspective. Okay, what the code is and all those things, they will be testing based on that. But if a tester tests and they test based on user point of view, okay, two different things. Some developer test an application, they will be testing based on business perspective. What the business says, is this code good? Is it working properly? Might be good application, but really might not be user friendly, or maybe some other issues, lot of things. So developer doesn't care on that. So that's the reason you need testers, because testers test based on user perspective. Okay. So that's what you want to give a response to your boss if they ask this question. Okay, so this is about roles and responsibilities. Any questions in this? Okay, so we go to workflow. Okay. So we know this. There's something called sprint. Okay, sprint is it's time boxed. Sprint is time boxed. That means 1 month is called a sprint. 2 months. Normally it's 1 month. Okay, sprint is normally 1 month. You can take it 15 days. On sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4. That means 4 sprint, 4 months. I'm just taking an example as you take sprint as 1 month, then 4 sprint will take into 4 months. So it's a time. The time box unit. So that's called sprint. Okay. And then so sprint can be flexible. We can take we don't take long time, 15 days, 1 sprint, we are completing 2 weeks, we'll complete 1 sprint. Okay, that's fine. That means 15 days, that's good. Or 1 month, 1 sprint. So it's flexible. It's how the project, based on the project, you can divide that as well. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Now, you'll be having a lot of meetings here. Okay, so in Agile, you'll be having a lot of meetings. Now, there's something called sprint planning. Okay, sprint planning is, you'll be having a lot of people with developers, testers, Scrum Master, and who organizes this? This is organized by the Scrum Master and Product Owner too. You'll be having a lot of people here. Okay, and what happens is, here they will discuss, what is to be done, which user story is assigned to whom, like which tester or which developer will be working on it, and who is going to work on it and who is going to test on it. So all this is decided in the sprint planning session. Okay. So now what happens is here. So we'll go to this. So there's something called product backlog. So we talk about this. But here, what happens is if one product backlog is actually divided into various sprint backlogs. Okay, various sprints. Okay, and then those sprint backlogs are again divided into user stories. Okay, now you see the difference high level. So this is very high level. Product backlog is very high level document. It's a high-level document. And because to understand that, you need to divide some more levels to understand this process. Okay, so here what you do is it is like voting system. This sprint planning, this guy is like voting system. What happens is, let's say they'll take one user story. Okay, they'll say this user story, and they'll say that how many days you require to finish this user story. Okay, so most of the time developers run the show. Okay, here, since if you have knowledge, that's good. If not, developer runs the show. What happens is a developer will say 5. That means 5 days. Okay. So if they say 5 days, that means 3 days for development, 2 days for testing. Okay, that means testing is included. Okay. Now, what happens is a Scrum Master will say, no, we don't have time for 5 days. Why not in 3 days? Okay, 3 days, take 2 days for development, 1 day for testing. Okay, now you cannot argue with them. Okay, you cannot argue. Somebody has to support the statement for the developer. So now if there's some technical guy, sometimes lead or dev manager is really good at technical, they will say, no, we need this 5 days because we have a lot of objects. We each objects, it's a lot of classes defined. We have to coordinate a lot of team with the team members. So it has to be 5 days because we cannot complete less than that. A lot of code to be checked, and we have to lot of code cleanup is to be there. So it requires 5 days. So Scrum Master says, okay, so we can go for 5 days. So that's how all this is decided in sprint planning. Okay. Okay, so okay, so that's how it is. Okay, sprint planning is normally it starts with the start of the sprint. Okay, let's say you're doing sprint 1. Okay, there's sprint planning for that. The sprint 2, there's sprint planning for that. Sprint 3, sprint plan. So every sprint, you have every sprint, right? For every sprint, you have the sprint planning. How it should be moved. What are the priority user stories that has to be moved? So all those things, will be done here. And it lasts for almost 3 to 4 hours. And they'll make sure that you don't have your lunch. Or you start from 10 a.m. to 2 or 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay, so that's how this sprint planning happens. Okay, any questions in sprint planning? So any questions? Okay, so let's move to the next one. So there is something called sprint grooming. So that's not here. Okay, there's something called sprint grooming. What happens is if something which is left, which is not done in sprint planning, will be having in the sprint grooming session. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So there is something called daily scrum. Okay, there is a daily scrum, and this is, this has 4 important things. Okay, and who is organizing this? This organizes by Scrum Master. Scrum Master organizes this daily scrum. It's normally 9 to 9:15, 15 minutes. Okay, it doesn't last for more than 30 minutes. If you're going more than 30 minutes, you're doing it wrong. Okay. So it should be in 15 minutes. Okay, it's a time boxed and it should be in 15 minutes. So what you will really discuss in this daily scrum? 4 important things. What have you done yesterday? Okay. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? And what are the impediments that is stopping you to do the work? 4 important things. Okay, so if you see here, so this is kind of daily scrum. This is also called stand-up meeting. This is sometimes called stand-up meeting. Every day, so somebody asked, every day do we have scrum meeting? Yes, we have every day scrum meeting. Okay, irrespective of any sprint, if you're working sprint, you have to attend that too and this too. Okay, so there will be 2. So you have daily meeting. So if you see here, there will be Scrum Master and testers, developers. Okay. Normally, your boss is not really invited in this Scrum meeting. Daily Scrum meeting, your boss is not here. So you're lucky on that. Okay. So normally discuss Scrum Master discuss, okay, what you have done, what you have done yesterday, what are you going to do today, what are you going to do tomorrow, and is there any impediments that is stopping you to do your work? Okay. So normally there's a board actually. They did show the board. It's showing pretty quick. So this is the board. Now this is a traditional way of doing it. So we'll discuss on this. We have a little time here, so we'll discuss on this. The board, then we'll discuss this. So, okay. Okay. So that is daily Scrum meeting, and then you have one more meeting: sprint review and retrospective. Okay, sprint review and retrospective. This is the end of the sprint. Normally, if the sprint is ending, right, we'll be having this. So what is exactly, this is again organized by the Scrum Master, okay, and what exactly they do here is they talk about 3 important things. What went good, what didn't go good, and how can we improve which didn't go good. Okay, 3 important things. That means you have every sprint you have to improve. Okay, what was good, user stories was good, but not detailed information. There is no proper information to proceed. Took a lot of time for testing for the testers because we have to coordinate with other team. A lot of things. The retail issues does not. So all this will be in sprint review and retrospective. So this is what they will be discussing. What went good, what didn't go good, and how we can improve on that. Okay. So this is the end of the sprint. So one sprint, if you are going right, this will be end of the sprint. Let's say sprint is starting from first week of the month, right? First week of the month, and ends on the last week of the month. So that will be here last week. The sprint retrospective will be there the last week of this month. Any questions? Okay. So here, let's talk about this particularly. We talk about this product backlog, right? So there's something called product backlog. Okay, what is a product backlog? It's a requirement. Okay, it's a requirement. It's a high level requirement. Okay, high level requirement. Now, this so how in an example. I'm just telling you an example. How does this is right? It can be a one-line statement in an Excel Word. If you have an Excel document, right? It can be one-line statement. That is product backlog. Okay, and you cannot start writing your test cases based on this product backlog. It's high level and it doesn't have any kind of technical information. Has no technique. It's a story. Just the business analyst starts writing story. For example, GM Online. Don't just put design GM Online, right? Design GM Online, but it doesn't have how many buttons it should be. What are the images that should be there? Okay, what are the text we are using? What is the color of this thing? So we don't know any technical information in the product backlog. Okay, so that's the product backlog. It's a very high level requirement document, very high level. And for event developers, your developers need more information on this, and they will approach the architect people to understand this. Okay, so that's how it is product backlog. So that's why it is divided into various. So we'll go through that. Okay. Now we also have the sprint backlog. Okay, sprint backlog is okay the sprint. Okay, what are the sprint we need to complete? Okay, so let's try to understand through this image. Okay, let's try to understand. So this is complete agile process. Okay, oops. Okay. So here, let's see here. So now you have this product backlog. Okay, this is product back. It is 4 blocks. This is block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4. Okay, this is 4 blocks. Okay, just for ease of understanding. It's not really blocks or something, but it's for you to understand. Okay, this is a product backlog, and let's say each product backlog, one block, is divided into 4 sprints. That's called sprint backlog. Okay, each product backlog is divided into 4 different sprints. Okay, that means 4 months. Each block will take 4 months. Okay, just for ease of understanding. Okay, it's not really say 5 months. It can take 2 months. It depends. Okay, so for ease of understanding, we're telling us each block is divided into 4 sprints. That's called sprint backlog. And each sprint, let's take it as 30 days. That's complete in 30 days, and we'll deliver this particular piece of code into that production. And the priority application, whatever is required, will be delivered in 30 days. Okay, so this is like agile process. Okay, now let me repeat it, people who didn't understood. So product backlog, is a set of requirements. Okay? It's a very high level set of requirements, and that, let's say, that is divided into sprint. Okay, various sprints. Let's say 4 sprints. That's called sprint backlog. Okay, and each sprint has to go 30 days. Each sprint has to go 30 days, and that is moved into production, and that's how it should be. So this is actually this is the Scrum process. You see here, this is the Scrum process. So here you have the sprint. That means sprint means time. That's I said, right, 30 days. Sprint backlog, which is divided from the product backlog, which will consist of, let's say, one product backlog should take, because it's too much of work, right? So you have to divide it. So that's why it's taking 4 sprints. Any questions? Okay, so let's go to so now here you have various charts here. So we already seen this chart, right? So let's open this Rally. So this is Rally is good. So that's why Rally is good for agile process. Not just agile, you can also do in waterfall, but it's really that was really made keeping agile process in mind. So so let's check it out here. So here you have various chart, right? So if you look here, this is a burn down chart, and we actually also have in this. Okay, let's see here. This is automatically plotted for you. Okay, you don't have to plot. Scrum Master need not has to plot anything. Let's see. Okay, you see here, right? So these are the charts. Now that's the same thing we are talking about. Okay, there are various charts. Now here we have this burn down chart. Okay, which means you are like the x-axis divided. X-axis is on days, how many days sprint completes. Okay, so one sprint. Okay, every sprint you have this all these charts. Okay, every sprint you have to get a new chart. Okay. And this remaining hours, so it's plotted between the x-axis, it's plotted in days, and y-axis in hours. So how much time will it take to complete that sprint? All those things will be shown right here. And so if you see this green color, right? Green color is ideally. That means ideally it should complete that way, but it doesn't happen that, right? It's not doesn't happen all the time. So what is right? So there is some break here. So that is called. Okay, because the reason sometimes you open defects, right? The defects doesn't get fixed for a long time. That's the reason you're spending a lot of time. That's why there's a gap here. Okay, so that's the that's how it goes. Okay, so it's ups and downs. A lot of ups and downs because if you open some defects, it has to be fixed. So you have to coordinate with people to make sure that it gets fixed. And sometimes if it doesn't get fixed, that is moved into next sprint. Okay, the defect in one sprint can be user story in another sprint. Okay, so that's how they make it. So the defect was too big. So the defect for developers that it happened to be too big, so they made it a user story. That means now they have to work on 2-3 user stories to fix that single defect. Okay, that may happen. Okay, so this is similarly you have a lot of charts too. Burn down chart, burn up chart, and then this is velocity, spike, all these things will be having this chart. Any questions? So let's go to here. So now this is a board. Okay, so now really we don't require this anymore. This is a traditional way of doing agile. Traditional way. Now we don't require. Why? Because everything is done in Rally. Rally takes care of it. Chart is plotted for you. Okay. And if you, let's say you want time, how much time you're taking to complete your work. Okay. That's shown up right here. Task. That's what the task is for. Okay. So you see here, how much time you're taking. Okay. And how much is estimated. Right. So the estimation to do how much time. So all this is plotted for you. Everything is done for you. So you don't really require this board thing. But since a lot of people might be still using this board, so we just go through this. Okay. Okay. So here this board is actually classified into 5 columns. Okay. This is the column, right? That is first column is stories. Okay. This is stories, and this is to do. Okay. That means how much time you're working on. Okay, progress. So how much progress you've made, and then testing, and is it ends? If it ends, the it will be here. Okay. Now what you use here is sticky notes. You're seeing the sticky notes, this blue color, pink color, paper, small paper. So those are called sticky notes. Okay. So this is user story. See here, these are all user story. User story 1, user story 2, 3, so on. These are all user stories. And you take the sticky notes and actually Scrum Master takes care of it. And writes it down, okay, this is the work has to be done, okay, and the first one, always, the first one who picks up is the developer guy, because you cannot start testing if the development is not completed, right? So always, for any user story, if anyone has to pick up, that will be a developer. So they will be first picking up and saying that this is the thing, this is the code it's to be fixed, this is the previous issues what we get, and this is what we are trying to fix here, okay? So they'll take up the sticky notes and write a number there, like 5, 4, that means 5 days. It's taking 5 days. Okay, that means 3 days for development, and they'll see on this. Okay, so that's how they do it. So once it's progress, they move the sticky note from here, put in progress, strike that number. Then they use 3 days to strike it, put number 2, and the next day they'll strike it, put number 1. That's how they do it. Okay, that's the traditional way of doing it. And now once the development is completed, let's say they've completed this development, they'll put the sticky note here, and then now for that testing will be start. For that testing will be get started. So once then you pick up this sticky note, maybe different color, not blue because blue developers are already taken. You might want to take a pink color or something. Okay, and put the sticky notes. In 2 days you have time to test. Put the number 2. And next day you strike 1, with 1 more day for testing, and you finish it. Okay. After that, the sticky notes will be moved into this column, last column. Okay, so this is a traditional way of doing it. Traditional way, you have this big board, and you put all these user stories here and sticky notes. Put all the sticky notes, and okay, so you'll be working on that. So all this, who organizes this? All this is Scrum Master. Okay, now they have to plot these charts too, right? Burn down chart, burn up chart, a lot of things. So they have to use the big plotters. It's not a small printer or something, just print it. There's a big plotters, okay? Big plotters which they plot this and stick to the walls, because when CIO or CFO comes to review what's happening, what progress you are doing, so they have to show this chart, right? What you are doing, and so they will put this all into, put the big plotters and stick to those walls, okay, to make sure which team is doing well and which not. Okay, that is the traditional way. And it's actually no more required this, but you have to require this. If you are working in some traditional way of doing, then you have to work this way too. Okay, so we don't really require all this. Reason because Rally takes care of everything. Okay, you need charts. That's good. Go to the reports get generated for that particular user story or particular iteration, and you get this chart. Okay, and really only thing is you need access to this Rally, and particular whoever is responsible, CIO or CFO guy, will get access to this and see what's happening with this. What's this particular? They're not going into details which user story or something. They are more interested in how this project is moving and how we can improve in this and all those things. Because Scrum Master has to coordinate with a lot of people. Okay, Scrum Master has to coordinate with the manager, and from manager to director, QA director, QA manager. They have to coordinate with QA manager, and then if necessary, they will be also coordinating with QA director. Okay, and this QA director will also be coordinating with their manager and their director. That's how it is. The hierarchy. They have to see who is, how this project is going, what's happening with this project, and what the issues you are facing and how it should be resolved. Okay, so that's how. See, all this chart is actually already ready-made for you. And if you want time, so here the only thing is here you'll be using as hours, not in days, but I told this is in days, right? So it's here in Rally it's used in hours, not in days. That's the only difference. So I mean, you can still, yeah. See here, you say hours, right? Yeah, yeah. You use how much hours, but here you're actually using days here, but it's up to pilot how to use it. Okay, so here's the thing, right? If you are in a traditional project, and you want to, so it's the same thing. It's always good thing to improve. Okay, you have to improve yourself, not even just, but your team members and everyone. Okay, so what you can do is, you can recommend, hey, you know what, this is really traditional. We have this rally, that is really good for agile because why rally is good for traditional, because we can save a lot of time. We can save a lot of time in preparing these boards and all those sticky notes, right? And these platters, and we are utilizing a lot of resources here. Not just Scrum Master's time, but we are using a lot of resources. Like we have to print it. That will consume paper, that will consume ink and all those things. Okay, and you are actually using more time spending on organizing it, the board and all those sticky notes. You're spending a lot of time, right? That efficient, you're losing efficiency, right? At the same time, you might spend on productive work on user story, development of user story, development of your tester, development of test cases. Okay, how to test an application, the client application, web application. You can use more your time in productive, more utilizing it productive rather spending, decreasing your efficiency. So that's the thing. That's the reason, right? We can use Rally instead of using traditional way. You can also recommend to your team, hey, what? So because a lot of when I was using, a lot of people were also recommending. Okay, so they were also recommending, hey, why don't you use this? This is a good tool, and this eliminates all these problems that we are having. That don't want to spend a lot of time in this traditional way, right? So everything is taken care by this Rally, and we can use the tool efficiently. The only thing is we need to just get access, and everyone can use it, and everyone can monitor what's happening to this user story, what's charts are there, so on. So that's pretty much on Agile. Any questions? Any questions you think that I missed here? So make sure you guys, if anyone has questions, yeah, you can ping it here. Okay, if you have any questions, you can ping it, or you can unmute your mic and Okay. Yeah, sometimes it happens, right? That's what I said, right? Sometimes I you cannot hear, and you might mute it, or So yeah, that happens. So let's make sure that one. Okay, and because okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So, okay. Anything you want to know in Agile? Something specific? So I mean, rest is like you can just use this spine. These are charts, okay? These are charts which are here too. You can technically you can So yeah, somebody asked a question, right? Are we going to study Agile test management tool? To study, it's up to you. Okay, I've given homework for in this Rally. The Rally is a test management tool, and this is more used for Agile. So I would not say this Agile, you know, Agile test management tool, but I would to be like keep it high level. I don't want to go specific. So I'll say test management tool. Can use in waterfall. Can use it in Agile. Can use it Scrum. Can use this is user friendly. This is the one test management tool that I find user friendly. You will be going through this but HPLM, and you know how hard it is to use that tool. Okay, but if you are using this, if you're so you will be pretty comfortable with this. But you also want to know other tools, because a lot of things you'll be putting in your resume, right? So you want to make sure you do justify your that you already know this, you have used this, and you're working on this for a long time, so you can justify your statement. So everyone have access to this, right? I mean, I'm sending email, so if you guys are not getting email to access for this tool, then you're actually missing it. You're missing the whole the class, okay? So this is the important tool actually. So I mean, it's not really you will be only using this tool at your work, but this is helpful for you to understand how the process, right? Don't just get addicted to this tool. No, I know only Rally. No, Manu told only Rally. No, I don't know any other tool. Now, you have to be flexible. Okay, you always when you're in the project or whenever you're going, you have to be very flexible. Okay, you don't get always what you want, because you're working from them, they are not working for you. So okay, if you start your business, okay, you might use whatever you want, but you don't get what you always want. Okay, so you have to be very flexible. The more flexible you are, the better you will be. So if you are using Rallies, suddenly you got some random tool. Let's say you're very comfortable with Rally. Now you don't come to me say no, you don't. You didn't tell me ClearQuest. No, they are using ClearQuest. I don't know how to use ClearQuest. Okay, so you cannot tell that, because the process remains same. Okay, what is the process? Creating your test cases, executing your test cases, reporting defects, all will be there, right there in any test management tool. Okay, so only thing is you have to understand the UI functionality. So that means instead of clicking here, that will be somewhere else. That may not be user friendly, but still there. Okay, here this is user friendly, so using this and so everything is good. But not all tools are user friendly. So, but still, you can still do that. Okay. So my point is, understand the process, not the tool. Okay. First, you need to understand how to create test cases, how to execute test cases, what are the main features when you are executing, put the attachment, put the screenshots, all those things. Okay, defects, how to open defects, assign it to particular developer, respective developer for that, and it has a screenshot. Don't forget the screenshot. Okay, all those things. You have to get used to those things in your tool. Okay, so that's the point. Okay, so I hope everyone have access to this tool, and you don't require VPN for this tool, so you're good. If you are not, if you're not getting the homeworks and you're not getting homeworks, or you can send me an email to okay. Or if you're not getting homeworks and you don't have this access to the tools, or you're not getting this study materials, you can send me this email. Okay, this is my email. Okay, so that I'll add you the list and I'll send you the previous recordings too, so you'll have a good idea of that. Okay. So is it still the people still don't understand this QA? Is there anyone still saying that don't understand this QA? I mean, even if you are not able to understand at this point of time, then better you have to look for those videos and you have to go through this and try to see if it makes sense for you. because here's the thing, these are the interview questions, okay? I'm not making up something or I'm not just saying myself. These are interview questions. They will ask some random question, okay? Okay, that's what I said, right? If anyone is not getting, send me an email. Okay, don't just ping in the chat. Don't just send your email ID in the chat. Send me an email so that I'll add to the list. Okay? So that's what, right? So that's the interview question. So there was an interview question. Okay, your lead is not available. Okay, you found a defect and your lead is not available. Let's say he's in vacation. How would you proceed with that? Okay, you have to get used to this. Okay. So again, we tell people not to ping here. Send me an email. Okay, so this time I'll just use this. So let's not pay attention. Okay, you have to send an email so that there is any. Okay, so that's the question. So one more question was correct, right? It was previously saying no, you are not saying the document. So there was the interview question saying that there is no documents. Okay, there is no BRD, no FRD, no nothing. How would you proceed with this with your testing process? Simple question. Okay, there is no documents, and how would you proceed with that with your testing? And you don't have much time to answer that question. You just, if you are, blinking that, that means yes, you don't know the answer. Okay, you have to be quick. Okay, so you have to be flexible. You have to be flexible because things, you don't get always what you want. Okay, so you have to be, you have to take an alternative. If this is not there, you have to look for another. Okay, that is not there, you have to look for another. So that's how you have to make it up. Okay, so okay. Any questions so far? Okay, so I have to given the homework. So due date is people who are interested can. Oh, some people are done. There is no name. Okay. Yeah, whenever you're free, you can do it. So, okay, if no questions, can we close this class for today? You guys have one more class, right? So we'll just close this. So I hope everyone got this access to Google Drive, right? Maybe I'm not able to add all of these people because my Google Drive has exceeded 500 members, more than 500 members it has. So it's not able to add anymore. So I've sent a link. You can use that link to access the documents. Okay. So you have all those documents. If you want to refer BRD, FRD, all those things there, you can just refer it. And again, in Agile, they are really shortening up this documents thing. They don't really have this lot of documents, but you need to get used to this. Okay, you have to. If you're not getting used to it, it hurts you because no one else. So at work they will be doing, everyone was doing their job, but if you're not getting used to it, it could be problematic. Okay, thank you guys.